Good morning. It is Sunday, November 6th, and time changed last night. Nobody's told the roosters, so farm life doesn't change much just because the time changes. So I'm not here this morning. This is probably going to be our last nice week before it starts getting cold. And I wanted to harvest some of my calendula and some other things to make a salve. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. So my calendula, of course, is still blooming beautifully, even though it's been frosty here quite a few times. So I'm just going to cut the blooms off, put them in my basket. This makes a wonderful healing salve. If you have any kind of skin conditions, my son has eczema, or even just you have dry skin from, working with your hands a lot or doing anything like that, it's beautiful and it is very medicinal, very healing. And I thought while I still have calendula blooming, it would be a great time to make a salve. So, all right, we're going to move to the next patch. It's over this way. It's such a beautiful flower. I hope you can see that. Alright. This stuff reseeds itself, which is wonderful. And also save seed. I love that it just keeps going past the frost and the cold. It's a beautiful flower and it's very good for us. So if you're not growing it, I recommend that you do. Okay, so the next ingredient is comfrey, and I have comfrey growing out here in my pollinator patch on my fence row. So I'm going to put this right there. There's my comfrey. And I'm going to try to get the younger leaves, more tender leaves that have not been damaged by bugs. Comfrey is also very medicinal, antibacterial. You could actually just make a poultice out of this and put it on any kind of wound or thing to help it heal faster. It's also good for the garden. You can make wonderful compost tea with it, and yeah, it's just an amazing plant. I have quite a few growing. I had one under the sycamore tree that ended up being like 6 foot tall this year, so that was really cool. I didn't know they got that big, but it did. All right, next ingredient. We'll go find it. Okay, so our next ingredient is plantain, and it is a weed that grows in everyone's yard. So you can find it just about everywhere, and it is very healing. My mama called it medicine weed. You can use it as a poultice as well. Very good for the skin if you get bug bites or anything like that, poison ivy. It's amazing. So I'll show you. Here's some right here just growing in my yard. So I'm sure you guys recognize that. Still got a little bit of dew on it, so we're definitely going to want to dry that off because you don't want any water in your mixture because it could cause it to get moldy. You don't want that.
It's just everywhere. It's amazing what grows around us that we don't even realize is useful until we start paying attention. Just like if you have stinging nettle in your woods and you get stung by it and it hurts and itches and burns, usually right next to it is jewelweed, which is the remedy. So you break that at the knuckles and rub that on the little spots where it got you, and it will really help. So it's pretty cool how God always puts a healing remedy next to something that might hurt us. So it's amazing. If you take the time to look and learn about it, you can find some really cool things growing right in your yard or in your woods.
So that is a beautiful basket. We are going to take this inside and we are going to make the beginnings of a beautiful Comfrey, Calendula and Plantain salve. Okay, so we're inside. We're going to start this salve. If you're interested in learning about herbal medicines and plants that you can use for healing, I am going to recommend a book. I'm not affiliated with this book in any way. I have lots of books about herbal medicine, but this I have found to be one of my favorites. It's called Backyard Medicine. I actually got it at TSC, and it has like beautiful color pictures so you can make sure you're identifying the right plant. It talks about the benefits of each. It talks about how to use them. So if you don't have a book about herbs and things and you want to get into it, I definitely check this out. So here we go. So I'm just going to get my ingredients out. I'm going to lay them on a towel, especially the plantain because it's close to the ground, so it is still kind of wet. We want to let that dry out some. So my Comfrey, my plantain, and my beautiful calendula flowers. So these are just gorgeous. Look at those. Are those not beautiful? I love it. Okay, so we're going to let them air dry for a little bit, and then we'll pick this back up and get started. So after everything is dry, because we do not want any moisture on the leaves or on the flowers because it will cause mold, then we can start putting them in our jar. So get a wide mouth canning jar. You don't have to use wide mouth, it can be regular mouth. If you don't have a lot of ingredients, you can use a pint. I'm going to use a wide mouth quart jar, and then also some extra virgin olive oil. Okay. I am going to cut my leaves up a little bit. It helps to break down the cell walls and release all the beautiful medicinal properties of our leaves. These are not the most beautiful leaves because it is fall and it's the end of the season, but they are still very helpful to us, so we should use them. Even though they're not the prettiest thing, they will make a wonderful salve. I'm going to put a few of them in. I'm going to put in some Comfrey. I'm just going to kind of layer it. I've been making this for a couple years. I have a friend who has some skin problems, and I gave her some, and she loved it so much she came up and got a start of Comfrey from me, and I gave her some calendula seed, and so she could make her own because she really likes how well it does with her skin.
Okay, I'm going to put in a few of these flowers. These are the most beautiful flowers. The colors on them are just wonderful. I'll lay those in there. Okay, we'll add some more of our green, our Comfrey and our Plantain. I love that I can just go in my yard and get this. Like, you can't get this stuff in a store. Maybe some specialty place, but you can't like go to your local big box store and buy this kind of stuff. And you know, I put a lot of love in it, so I think that's why it works so well too. You gotta make everything with love. A lot of farm chores to get completed while the weather is nice. We need to get the chicken coop cleaned out one more time and get our compost pile full for winter for it to sit. We got a ton of leaves that have blown up against the electric fence for the chickens, so we need to get that moved and rake those up and probably put them in the garden to help, you know, fertilize it over winter. But I'm glad we have another week. I'm not looking forward to winter. I am a summer girl for sure. Alright, so after we have layered our ingredients in the jar, we are just going to cover them with oil. You can use other oils besides olive oil. You can use like grapeseed oil, you can use avocado oil, whatever you want. I have extra virgin olive oil here, and so I'm going to use it. It does take a lot, and I know oil is expensive, so if you do want to go for like a pint size first until you get kind of used to making it, that would be totally understandable. So you're just going to make sure that everything is submerged in the oil. You don't want it above the oil because then it could grow mold. So you got to make sure there's plenty to keep it down. And now my hands are all oily. Alright, then you just put your top on and you put it in a sunny window for about 6 weeks. You're going to want to shake it. You know, when you remember, I put mine in my kitchen window because I see it every day and I'll remember if it's there. If I were to put it somewhere else, I may not remember to shake it as often, but I don't know that there's a rule of how often you have to shake it. Just, you know, once every couple of days or something. Make sure your petals and your leaves are all submerged in the oil. And then after 6 weeks, you can strain out the plant material. I usually add coconut oil as well and some beeswax to make the consistency of the salve that I like. So I'll make another video in 6 weeks when it's time to do that. So we're going to put this in the window. Isn't that gorgeous? You want it to be in a sunny window. Sunny window helps it develop. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this salve, and I hope you have a great day. And if you haven't looked into medicinal herbs and medicinal plants, I definitely suggest you do it because they're all around us. We might as well use them. Have a good one.